Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'd say I'm glad to see everybody, but I can't see you, so I'll just have to imagine you out there. Been a heck of a week, hasn't it? I don't think I've had one of those in a really long time. I hope everybody's doing well with everything that's going on, but I'm not going to talk about that today because I don't want to. I think, though, that I thought last night and kind of planned it out in my head that I really wanted to go back to the story that we don't talk about as much anymore, which is the pandemic and how it is affecting our country and how it is affecting our lives. Obviously, there is a bright spot in this, is that there is now vaccination, though right now by some it is difficult to get, and we're not sure who's going to get them or when, but people are, and that obviously is the light at the end of the tunnel. But we continue to walk in the tunnel, and I get concerned that we've kind of put it over there. We're tired of limitations that have been put on us, those who follow those limitations, and a lot of people are just the heck with it. I'm tired. Since March, we're almost a year now, and that concerns me, because then I think we forget about the people who have died. I was informed at family gathering one night that it is less than 1% of our population, which really didn't matter to me. It could have been minus 10% of our population, and anybody who has died, it is an issue. So I worry about that. I worry about this attitude now that kind of it's going to make its way through, and we'll try to hurry up and get people vaccinated, and I think without doing the grieving and the mourning we need to do as a nation, much like we did after 9/11. So that concerns me. It concerns me that that since the pandemic began and everything hit the fan, we had that quite a long period of time, especially in terms of New York City, where people were conscious every day of the healthcare workers and what their needs were. People in New York City would hang out their windows at 7 o'clock every night and bang pots and pans to say thank you. And it seemed like even in other places where it wasn't as great at that point, that there was some real hometown hero kind of thing. I think maybe we've even tired of that, kind of like, well, we've said thank you, and now they need to get on with it. The problem is the places where it is striking now in such numbers, even greater numbers beyond the expectations in New York City. And staffs are just are caving in, and I don't see that kind of affirmation of their work or the need to thank them. We now have a strain of the virus that is more easily caught, which means that people will more easily catch it. So that means that everybody is on the front lines, takes that chance, from bus drivers to people working grocery stores, to the people who mop up the rooms in ICU. Can you imagine that? Would you want to go in and do that? And so we have a daughter-in-law who works at Ascension. She is not an ICU nurse. She is a cardiac nurse, but has been assigned up on the ICU unit, and said it just amazed her. It was more than she had ever imagined. And then said, I think the people who really deserve a lot of attention are respiratory therapists. She said they're the ones that go into the room, they're the ones that insert the tubes, they're the ones that take care of the equipment, and then if the when the tube gets removed for whatever reason, it is also them. There are all these little pockets of people who I think probably feel alone out there. I am not I don't even know what I'm suggesting. It is hard to know what to do. First of all, realizing that this continues would be a really good place to start. To continue to look at what we can do in either big or small ways. Obviously, many of us are trapped in a situation where about the only option we have is to pray. So I would say pray, not only for those who are dying or have died and their families, but those who have to get up every morning and know what they are facing, or maybe they don't know what they are facing. As I said before, it's not quite a year. My parents, who grew up during the Depression and then World War II, so I've always been really interested, especially in the war. I always think, what if the American citizens had given up after about 10 months after Pearl Harbor and said, we're not going to do this anymore. We don't want to have to watch how much gas we use, and we're not going to turn our metal cans in, and we're not going to accept the fact that we can't buy butter all the time, and a whole lot of other things. And said, no, we quit. They didn't. They didn't like it, but they didn't. I think this is not the time for us to quit. So, I guess I'm sorry if it's just another thing about the thing you don't want to hear about. But I see us having a lot of responsibility in this, the church, and how we care for people, and what kinds of care we give, and also prayers that we send up to God. So that's a big talk for this week. And yes, I still have all my Christmas stuff up. And yes, you will probably see it till the end of January, because I hate putting it away. And I always think that baby Jesus could hang around longer than we let him usually. So everybody take care. See you next week, I hope. God willing and the creek don't rise. Thank you. Bye.